Hi, you're here because you finished writing all your paragraphs, but it's still a draft. Now you're ready for stage 3, the stage where you polish your work. First, you make sure your ideas are well developed, and finally, you check your grammar and style. Stick around and let's talk about revising and editing your draft. This video is part of a series about the basics of the writing process. For the series to make sense, you should watch each video in order. See the video description for links to the whole series and for supplemental materials. Hi, welcome to Snap Language Learner. Mark Franco here. So far in the writing process, you chose an idea for writing, planned your writing, and came up with a thesis statement in stage 1, the pre-writing stage. In stage 2, the writing stage, you created an introduction, body paragraphs where you walked your readers through your thinking, and a conclusion, just to give your readers a sense of closure. During the writing stage, your main concern was to get your ideas down quickly and as clearly as possible. But that was just a draft. Now you should revise and edit your draft. But first, I recommend you should put your draft away for a day or two. This way, when you go back to it, you'll see with a fresh pair of eyes. When you revise your work, you focus on your ideas. You work on the substance. Then when you edit your work, you focus on the form. Essentially, you work on grammar and writing issues. Let's talk about revising first. Even experienced writers don't get their ideas down right the first time. You can always go back over each of your ideas and make them better. When you revise your draft, you want your ideas to be clear. You should ask yourself several questions. Have I used the appropriate language for the topic, purpose, and audience? Are my ideas logical? Do they make sense? Have I walked my readers through each idea in the correct order so my argument makes sense? Can I delete or consolidate some ideas to get rid of repetition? Are there any concepts that I can explain better? Perhaps I can add a definition or example somewhere to clarify things. Let's look at a version of the introduction for the draft we've been working on throughout the series. For many people, donating blood is something you do after a disaster, such as an earthquake. But what happens to people who need blood other times? Each year, thousands of Americans die because hospitals do not have enough blood for transfusions that could save their lives. You may not think about it because you do not need blood transfusions all the time. However, people don't need blood only after a disaster. Many people need it when they least expect. You might be healthy now and need blood desperately later due to an accident. Although donating blood is a surprisingly simple process, perhaps we think it's too much trouble to take the time to be a blood donor. But did you know you are actually helping yourself by donating blood? Donating blood has several benefits. Some may actually surprise you. Let's see, this first sentence is really long. I think it'll be clear for the reader if I end it here and start a new sentence, like this. For many people, I can make this more personal writing for many of us. Yes, I like that. Also, such as an earthquake makes it sound as though earthquakes are the only disasters. Earthquakes and hurricanes. However, what happens to... there's a better word choice for do not have. Lack enough blood is a more straightforward word choice here. When you see a construction like this, transfusions that, you can usually change the second part like transfusions that could save lives are life-saving transfusions. all the time is a little conversational. How about regularly? That sounds more academic. I already used however before. That's repetitive. What's another word for however? Yet? No. Nonetheless. I've used you everywhere here, but I'm using we here. Let's change that to you. So keep going over your draft like that. Make any changes to improve your ideas until you're happy that what you wrote will be very clear to your readers. Once you're done with revisions, put your draft away for a while. If you go straight to the editing step now, you may miss things. When you're ready to edit your draft, you look at all aspects of grammar and style. Also, check your document for any formatting issues. Let's look at a version of the first body paragraph. We'll look just at the beginning. First, donating blood has personal and social benefits. Knowing your blood helps people in need, even save their lives, has positive psychological effects. You simply feel good about yourself because you know you're doing something good, and so on. I already revised this, so I'm happy with the ideas. It's time to edit it and find grammar and writing issues. First donating blood? Yes, I need a comma here for clarity. Wait, what? Oh, I mean to say has positive psychological effects. Wait, effects? Effects? No, the word is effects with an E. Ooh, yourself is one word. Oh, you are. In formal English, you should avoid contractions like these. My writing style needs to be academic for this passage. Anyhow, this is it for editing. You may want to go over it again the next day. You might find things like, oh, I added can here, but I forgot to change the main verb. Can help. That's it. Just go through the whole draft as many times as needed, focusing on grammar, spelling, and style. It's amazing how many things you find after putting your work away for a few days. You may be asking yourself, why should you worry so much about grammar and spelling when your word processor checks for you automatically? Be careful. Spell checkers don't catch everything. For example, these words are homophones, right, and right. They're all spelled correctly, so the spell checker won't necessarily see anything wrong. Maybe the grammar checker will flag there may be a problem if you choose the incorrect word, but don't trust that it always will. Speaking of grammar checkers, sometimes they flag a construction and suggest a correction, but there's nothing wrong with it. The bottom line is, these are great tools, but you need to make decisions about grammar, spelling, and style yourself. Now, writing can be a lonely activity. We need to work alone so we can focus on the job. But that doesn't mean you can't get help. It's a good idea to ask someone to read our work. That's why many colleges have writing centers where tutors help students revise and edit their work. If you're not in college, just ask a friend or a colleague to read your drafts. Don't get defensive, though. Listen carefully to whatever they say. You may think you wrote something very clearly, but if someone says they're having a hard time reading it, you should listen to them. After all, you're not writing for you to read it. You're writing for other people to read it. If you disagree with their opinion, thank them for their help and later do whatever you want. But if they say they can't understand something you wrote, consider revising it for clarity. You should also consider supporting Snap Language Learner by liking and sharing our videos, subscribing, and clicking the bell. This really helps us grow and continue making new videos. Next up, we'll talk about some of the final details. See you there. Thanks for watching.